Pharaoh Moses, also known as Moses, was an ancient Egyptian ruler who is traditionally believed to have lived around 1300 BC. He is one of the most important figures in history and the central prophet in Judaism, a major prophet in Christianity and Islam, and an honored guest in the Baha'i faith. Moses is traditionally credited with receiving the Ten Commandments from God while the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt. According to the Bible, Moses led his people out of slavery and through the Red Sea and into the Promised Land. Many scholars believe that Moses was the founder of the religion of Judaism. However, there is some debate over whether or not Moses was a real historical figure. Some scholars argue that he was a mythical or legendary figure who never actually existed. Others argue that he was a real person who did many of the things attributed to him in the Bible. However, most scholars agree that if Moses was a real person, he was probably not the kind of divine leader described in the Bible. Despite the debate over his historicity, Moses remains an important symbol for Jews around the world. He is a symbol of freedom from oppression and a reminder of the covenant between God and his people. For Christians, Moses is a symbol of God's love and mercy. For Muslims, he is one of the greatest prophets of all time. And for the Baha'is, he is one of the most important figures in their scripture. There are many stories about Moses that have been passed down through the ages. One of the most well-known stories is the story of how he saved the Israelites from the wrath of God when they were in the desert. When the Israelites complained about their food and water, God sent plagues of snakes, scorpions, and other harmful animals to punish them. In response, Moses built a bronze snake on a pole, and anyone who was bitten by a snake could be healed. This story is an example of the kind of miracles that Moses was said to have performed. Another well-known story about Moses is the story of how he parted the Red Sea. When the Israelites were fleeing from the Egyptians, Moses led them to the Red Sea. As the Egyptian army approached, Moses raised his staff and the sea parted, allowing the Israelites to escape. This is considered to be one of the most miraculous stories about Moses and is often used to symbolize the power of faith. Although Moses is revered by many different religions, there is very little historical evidence to support the traditional accounts of his life. Most of what we know about him comes from the Bible, the Quran, and other religious texts. There are some archaeological finds that may be related to Moses, such as the Tel Dan stele. But these are not definitive proof of his existence, despite the lack of physical evidence. Moses continues to be an important figure for people of faith. His story is a source of inspiration and strength, and his legacy continues to live on in the hearts and minds of billions of people around the world. This has been Pharaoh Moses in 100 seconds. If you want to learn more about Moses or other ancient rulers, stay tuned for more information. Thanks for watching.